If your mind were a battlefield, would you believe every voice in it? Every whisper of doubt, every scream of fear, every desperate plea of unworthiness? The ancient masters knew a truth we've forgotten. You are not the storm of thoughts that rage within you. You are the sky that watches them pass. What if I told you that the prison you feel trapped in has no walls, that the chains binding you are made of nothing but mist and shadow? In the temples of ancient Japan, Zen masters would sit for hours, watching their thoughts like clouds drifting across an endless sky. They understood a profound truth. Thoughts come, thoughts go, but you remain. The Buddha taught that our minds are like wild horses, untamed, powerful, dangerous when left to run wild. But through the practice of mindfulness, we don't break the horse, we learn to sit calmly in the saddle, guiding rather than being dragged. The Zen masters would ask, "Who is it that hears these thoughts?" The great teacher Dogen taught, "To study the Buddha way is to study the self. To study the self is to forget the self. To forget the self is to be enlightened by all things." Think of your thoughts as boats on a river. You can watch them from the shore. You can note their color, their shape, their destination. But you need not board every boat that passes. When a thought says, "I am a failure," the untrained mind says, "Yes, I am." When a thought whispers, "I am not enough," the sleeping mind believes it. When a thought shouts, "I cannot bear this pain," the imprisoned mind surrenders. But you are not these thoughts. You are the witness, the watcher, the vast consciousness in which all thoughts arise and dissolve like morning mist under the sun. So how do we break free? How do we reclaim our power from the tyranny of thought? First, we must learn to observe without attachment. When a thought arises, particularly one that brings suffering, pause, breathe, say to yourself, "I notice I'm having the thought that I am worthless." Not, "I am worthless," but, "I notice I'm having a thought that I am worthless." This simple shift creates space, the space of freedom, that Buddhist traditions call the moment of choice. Second, we must practice returning to the present moment. The samurai warrior knew that dwelling on past battles or fearing future ones would dull his blade in the moment of truth. Your power exists only in the now. Return to it as often as necessary. Third, we must cultivate compassion for ourselves. When thoughts assault you with their stories of inadequacy and fear, meet them not with resistance, but with gentle awareness. As the Dalai Lama teaches, be kind whenever possible. It is always possible. What happens when you no longer identify? With every thought that crosses your mind, freedom happens, clarity happens, peace happens. The samurai called it no mind, a state beyond thought where action flows perfectly, uninterrupted by doubt or hesitation. The Buddhists called it liberation, freedom from the suffering created by attachment to thought. The Zen teachers called it mushin, the mind without mind, flowing like water, responding without the burden of self-consciousness. You are not your anxious thoughts about tomorrow. You are not your regretful thoughts about yesterday. You are not your critical thoughts about yourself. You are not your fearful thoughts about what others think. You are the vast, silent awareness in which all thoughts arise, exist, and dissolve. You are the ocean, not the waves. You are the sky, not the clouds. Today, I challenge you to watch your thoughts with the detached curiosity of a scientist. When a negative thought appears, don't fight it. Observe it. Name it. Ah, there's anxiety. There's judgment. There's fear. Practice saying, "Thank you for trying to protect me. Mine, but I don't need to believe this thought right now." Remember the wisdom of the ancients. The untrained mind is a dangerous master, but the trained mind is a powerful servant. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who sees them. You are the one who knows them. You are the one who can choose moment by moment which ones to believe, which ones to act upon, and which ones to simply let drift away like leaves on an autumn stream. In this awareness lies your freedom. In this practice lies your power. In this truth lies your peace. The battlefield falls silent when the warrior realizes he is not the battle, he is the sky above it all. Recognize your thoughts as mental events. Imagine standing in a vast open field, gazing up at the sky. Clouds of all shapes and sizes drift by, some dark and threatening, others light and wispy. These clouds may temporarily block the sun, cast shadows, or even release rain, but they are not the sky itself. No matter how many clouds pass through, the sky remains, boundless, open, and unchanged by what moves across it. Your mind works in much the same way. Thoughts constantly drift through your awareness, judgments, worries, plans, memories, fears, desires, sometimes so densely that they seem to be all there is. When the thought, "I'm a failure," appears, it can feel like an absolute truth rather than just one of thousands of mental events passing through your consciousness. The Buddha taught that mistaking our thoughts for reality is the root of suffering. When we believe every thought that arises, we become prisoners of our own mental activity. The critical inner voice that says you're not good enough is not delivering truth. It's simply generating a thought, one of approximately 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts that move through your mind each day. Try this simple practice. The next time a painful or stressful thought arises, pause and say to yourself, "I notice I'm having the thought that," for example, instead of being swept away by, "I'll never succeed at this," shift to, "I notice I'm having the thought that I'll never succeed at this." This small change creates a crucial space separating you from the thought itself. With practice, you'll begin to recognize that thoughts are like weather patterns in your mind, sometimes stormy, sometimes clear, but always changing and always distinct from the aware consciousness that observes them. You'll catch yourself before automatically believing thoughts like, "Everyone is judging me," or "I can't handle this situation," and instead recognize them as mental events, not facts about reality. This doesn't mean dismissing or suppressing your thoughts. Just as we wouldn't yell at the sky to stop making clouds, we don't need to fight against thinking. Instead, we develop the capacity to see thoughts for what they are. A Zen teacher once asked his students, "If someone gives you a gift, and you don't accept it, to whom does the gift belong?" Similarly, when thoughts appear, we can acknowledge them without accepting them as truth, without letting them determine our identity or worth. With practice, you'll find yourself less entangled in negative thought spirals and more able to choose which thoughts are helpful and which can simply be noted and released. You'll discover that beneath all your thinking is a spacious awareness, your true nature, that remains untouched by the ever-changing weather of your mind. Remember, you are not your thoughts. You are the vast, open awareness in which thoughts appear, exist temporarily, and dissolve, like clouds in the boundless sky of your consciousness. To the power of now, consider this. Where do most of your thoughts take you? For many of us, our minds constantly move between two places that don't actually exist, the past and the future. We replay old conversations with new endings, revisit past mistakes with regret, or imagine scenarios of success or disaster. Meanwhile, the only moment we ever truly have, this present one, slips by largely unnoticed. The Buddha called this to live in mental time travel monkey mind, the mind swinging restlessly from branch to branch, never resting in the present moment. This constant mental movement isn't just exhausting, it disconnects us from reality itself. While you're mentally rehearsing tomorrow's presentation or replaying last week's argument, your actual life, the only life you'll ever have, is happening right now, and you're missing it. The present moment is the only time over which we have 2 eyes, wrote Thich Nhat Hanh. Yet paradoxically, it's where we spend the least time. We sacrifice the richness of now for thoughts about then or when, trading reality for mental constructs. This is particularly true when we're experiencing difficult emotions or circumstances. Our minds instinctively try to escape the discomfort by time traveling. Returning to the present moment means recognizing that all your power, creativity, and real experience exist only in the now. Planning happens now. Learning from the past happens now. Everything happens now. Try this simple practice several times throughout your day, especially when you notice yourself caught in thought. Pause and take 3 conscious breaths. Then ask yourself, what is actually happening right now? Bring your attention to feel the weight of your body against the chair or floor. Notice the temperature of the air on your skin. Feel your breath moving in and out. Listen to the ambient sounds around you, both near and far, without labeling or judging them. Look around as if seeing your surroundings for the first time, noticing colors, shapes, and light. Notice any emotions or feelings present without trying to change them. This practice of returning to sensory reality anchors you in what Zen teachers call things as they are, rather than things as you think about them. The difference is profound. One Zen story tells of a monk who, while being chased by a tiger, stops to eat a strawberry growing on the cliff edge. When asked why, he replies, "It was so sweet." It's the ultimate realism, recognizing that even in challenging times, life is only ever experienced now. Our minds will naturally wander. That's what minds do. The practice isn't about never having wandering thoughts. It's about gently, patiently, bringing our attention back to the present moment whenever we notice we've drifted away. Each time you return to now, you strengthen this muscle of presence. With consistent practice, you'll begin to experience longer periods of being fully present. You'll taste your food rather than just consuming it while thinking about other things. You'll feel the warmth of the sun or the embrace of a loved one rather than missing these experiences while lost in thought. You'll respond to life's challenges with awareness. Remember, the present moment is where life actually happens. It's where your power lives. It's where joy is available. It's where you can meet reality as it is, rather than as your thoughts describe it. Kindness. Notice how we speak to ourselves in ways we'd never speak to a friend. "You're so stupid. You always mess things up." When harsh thoughts appear, imagine what you'd say to a dear friend facing the same situation. Place a hand on your heart and offer yourself the same kindness. This is difficult, but you're doing your best. Self-compassion isn't self-indulgence. It's recognizing our shared humanity. Find your true nature. When you get caught in a storm of anxious thoughts, remember, you are not the storm. You are the vast awareness in which all mental weather happens. Try this. When overwhelmed by thoughts, ask yourself, who or what is aware of these thoughts? That awareness, not the thoughts themselves, is closer to who you really are. Even in your most difficult moments, this spacious awareness remains untouched, like the sky above the clouds. Impermanence. Remember that embarrassing moment from years ago that felt like the end of the world? Or that worry that kept you up for nights but never came true? Thoughts and feelings are like weather patterns, sometimes intense, but always temporary. When caught in difficult thinking, remind yourself, this too shall pass. Nothing in our experience is permanent, including our most convincing thoughts. Questioning the voice in your head. Our minds are brilliant storytellers, often writing worst-case scenarios based on limited information. When caught in a thought spiral, ask, is this absolutely true? Could there be another explanation? Or, how would I see this situation if this thought weren't here? Not everything your mind tells you deserves your trust. Questioning doesn't mean dismissing. It means looking more deeply at what's really true. Recognize your mind's narratives. We all have recurring mental patterns, the "I'm not good enough" story, the "nothing ever works out for me" narrative, the "everyone else has it figured out" tale. Start noticing your mind's greatest hits. There's my future disaster story again. Naming your thought patterns helps you recognize them before they sweep you away. You are not your stories. You're the one who can recognize them. Petting Tai. Life with fresh eyes. Children experience life directly with wonder and curiosity before concepts and judgments take over. Try bringing that same freshness to ordinary moments. The actual sensation of water while washing dishes, the flavors in your food, rather than just the idea of eating. When your mind says, "I already know this," set those thoughts aside and look again with beginner's mind. Life happens now, not in your ideas about it. 10. Practicing with patience and compassion. The ancient masters weren't born enlightened. They practiced, forgot, stumbled, and began again thousands of times. When you find yourself lost in thought, simply smile, take a breath, and begin again without judgment. As one long-time practitioner put it, I've been meditating for 30 years and I still have thoughts. The difference is, now I wave to them as they pass by. Each time you remember to return to awareness is a victory worth celebrating. Remember, you already have everything you need for this practice. Your awareness is always here, beneath the surface of your thinking. The path is not about getting somewhere else. It's about discovering what's already here when you stop believing every thought that passes through your mind.